Greetings and greetings you all. Thank you for joining us again in this five element spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ingom. And today in this five element journey is about our three major forces, government, culture, and religion, on trial in the court of moral righteousness, where they are proven guilty beyond any reasonable doubt as institutions of Satan with zero moral credibility. This is the topic today in this five-element spiritual journey. Now, let us clarify when we say moral justice, what we mean. Before you start imagining outwardly setting, where God sits on his throne, surrounded by angels, to carry out his judgment. No, we're not talking about outwardly setting. Moral justice simply means, in the simple term, logic and reason. Logic and reason, moral justice, what is right and reasonable, what is right and just. Moral justice. Court of moral righteousness, another terminology or definition, can be a court of logic and reason. What is logical and reasonable for all to understand. Because that is the nature of the truth. The truth is not hidden, nor the truth is difficult to understand. The truth is extremely easy to understand. From a child, even to an adult who have 1% of their brain cell functioning, can understand the truth. The truth is not hidden or difficult to understand. However, also the truth is extremely difficult to accept. Extremely difficult to accept. At the same time, extremely easy to ignore or dismiss. This is the nature of the truth. Many don't want to hear the truth. Many, to accept the truth, can be very, very challenging. They know it's the truth, but they cannot accept it. They cannot challenge it, but they will not accept it. They cannot shut it down, they still won't accept it. And anyway, dismiss it, end up dismissing it or ignore it. Just because they don't accept it. So it's easier for them to ignore it and dismiss it than the struggle to accept it. This is the nature of the truth. And we are not here trying to make anyone to believe anything or to accept anything. That is not what we're here for. Take it or leave it is on you. But the nature of the truth is not difficult to understand. So, let the trial begin. Government, religion, and culture on trial in the court of moral righteousness. And this is Master Abdullah Ingom in the five-element journey. Let the trial begin. Now, we're going to start with government because the government is the ruling authority. It's the one that rules the nation. So we're going to start the government and we're going to make it three parts. We're going to make the trial separately. We're going to start with government first, then we're going to go with religion, then we're going to go with culture. But we're going to start with government. What is the government? Let's start there. The structure of government is three layers. The top layers, the middle, and the bottom. The top layers is the lawmakers. Okay. As in the United States, we have Congress, those who make the law, and the president. These are the lawmakers, the top level. Okay. The middle layer These are the branches. Thus, rule, provides services, and regulates. This is the branch in the middle. Let's say the courts, the justice system is part of the branch, motor vehicle is part of the branch. That's why one crime in one state, the penalty of that crime might not be the same for another state. So you have a driver license in one state does not mean that driver license is valid in all states, even though it's the same nation. That's what the branches do. The branches have the district do they serve based on that setting. So it's different. Okay. So this is the middle. You have the lawmakers and the branches. The lower level is the agencies. The agencies that preserve and enforce. What they preserve and what they enforce. The law and the rule and regulation. The law of the lawmakers and the rule and regulation of the branches. The agencies, that's their role, to preserve and enforce the law and rule and regulation. Now you have, in the United States, you have the FBI, you have the CIA, and many other agencies with 3 letters. Then you have the police department, we have police departments and the army. This is basically the setup of a government. Okay. Lawmakers and those who provide and regulate according to the law, and those are the bottom to preserve and enforce the law and the regulations. Okay. Now, all the agencies that preserve and enforce the laws and rule and regulations of the nation, who is the most important and valuable agent among them all? Spy. We call them the spy. They are the most valuable agent for any nation. Why is more valuable than all agents? Because if you ever reveal the identity of a spy, there's a serious legal consequences, even harsher than a cold-blooded killer. Just reveal the identity. In the United States, let's say, you can be fined up to $5 million. And your prison time can be beyond the prison time of a cold-blooded killer. Because we have seen murderers being sent to prison for 5 to 10 years in prison. But you reveal the identity of a spy. The prison sentence, 15 years prison sentence, is set and written. Not killing, just reveal. Just reveal the agent's spy operative. Just reveal the identity. You can face $5 million fine and 15 years prison time. And we have seen people kill many people. Do you ever heard a killer being fined $5 million, 15 years in prison? When sometimes drug lord and then these mobs or don't get $5 million fine after committing horrifying crime, they will not get $5 million fine. But here you have one individual, one agent who's illegal, who operate illegally to begin with, agree by the same system that use it. Spy is illegal. Espionage is illegal. So the agent is illegal. The operative operate for the same system that agree that this agent is illegal. Now, you agree what you're doing is illegal. You already agree. There's no mistake on that. They all agree on that. But the one who reveal your illegal activities, that will be treated worse than a criminal. Sometimes it's even hard to process. Something that can make even a 5 years old just scratch their head. So what? There's no way you can make sense or wrap your head around it to make sense. You operate illegally, which you yourself you agree. But one who testify or reveal your activities, that's the one who's the criminal. And you will punish him harshly. And you calling you standing up, believe in justice. That's the justice. That is the justice. When your wrong are revealed, one who reveals it be punished. That's justice. But that's the truth here. That's the truth here. Even a president of a nation reveals the identity of a spy, that president can be impeached, thrown out of office. What that says? That tells you official people, they're not the one who run the nation. They're not the one who call the shots. Because even a president disclose, reveal the identity of an agent, they can be thrown out of office. Because they become a problem for the system they serve, for the system they are elected to serve. Now, let's go further with this. Spy go to blending, snooping around to gather information for the nation they serve. They go looking for information in all type of method. The most deceptive soul, the most deceptive, the most wicked soul, with zero consciousness. They don't feel anything. Because they can come to your house, blend in, learn your language, merge with your culture, and their ultimate plan, their sinister ultimate plan, is to cause you far greater harm than you can ever comprehend. They're the one who will smile, make you see them as part of you. The worst character, the worst human being. But that tells you, you can trust them with your life. Based on their pretending skill of deception. What that tells you, what that tells you so far about who run or who own this system. That's right, that's honorable, that's just. You can be kind to them. Open your soul to them. With all that, they will stick with their plan to cause you far greater harm. Not just you, but through you. Because the information that they want to gather through you, when that is put into action, can affect the entire nation. They know that, and that's their intention. Claim to be your friend. Why are they planning not just to bury you, but to bury your entire nation? Of course, great damage to your entire nation. You see a soul as such. And all the governments have them. And they're the most valuable agent for any government. They are the most valuable agent for any government. And anyone who taught them, revealed them, the system will come after you harshly. So I think you already know who runs it. Yeah? The most wicked, the most dishonorable individual, seen as the most valuable one. This is the law of the underworld, not a divine law. And let's go further on this. Now you see, God, the all-knowing, all-seeing, the best agents of God that He sends on missions, we call them prophets. They don't go snooping around, deceiving people to gather information. They come with the information to inspire, enlighten, and educate. They come with the information. They come to reveal. Because they serve a God who see and know it all knowing, all seeing. They serve all-knowing, all-seeing God, a God who do not need the agent to go snoop around to find what is what. That's why His prophet come with information to reveal, educate, inspire. Not go snoop around deceiving and gathering information. Only one who does that, the God wanna be. He doesn't have the might. He doesn't. That's why he wanna be the God, all-knowing, all-seeing. He have to use people. That's the most powerful branch of his empire. Gather information. He wanna be all-knowing, all-seeing. He cannot do that. He can only use people to do that. All-knowing, all-seeing. He's mimicking God. That's why God, who all-knowing, all-seeing, He sent His agent with information to educate, inform, inspire. This God wanna be? Use people to go snoop around, gather information. The first God is the God of all the systems. That's why the system they set up, civilian devices everywhere. Also they map, they can see every part of the earth. They can tap into every phone, every device. Want to know what people are saying, want to see where they are going. Gathering information, to gather information. God doesn't gather information. He gives information. Messengers of God, they don't gather information. They provide information. The enemy of God, the opposite of God, do the opposite. That's why the devil and God are the opposite of one another. They function differently. The opposite. See? As you can see, we don't even have to elaborate on this to know who is the architect of this governmental system. God provide information. The most valuable agents of God to humanity are messengers. They don't come to gather information. They come to provide information, to enlighten, to reveal. The devil who rules the system, his most valuable agents are the spy that goes snooping around, deceiving people, lying, all trick to get information, to collect information. God provide, the devil collect. The opposite of one another. This make the system, the governmental system of the world and the way they function to be guilty beyond any reasonable doubt in a court of moral righteousness, in a court of logic and reason, to be institution of Satan beyond any reasonable doubt based on their action. They are guilty as institutions of Satan with zero moral credibility. So, if they want to serve the collective or claim any moral authority, need to be modified as a system that can govern, but not a system that rules. Because the governmental system that we know of, there's two titles in heaven are seen as invaders, are ruled by invaders, are set up by invaders, are set up by invaders to rule the collective. Not to govern humanity, not to govern the collective, but to rule the collective. And time have come where this system required to be modified. To be modified as a system that can govern. Through logic and reason, that can govern. Through moral righteousness, that can govern to what is right and just. Not the opposite of that. That is way that is operating at this point in time. That's why to modify this institution is crucial. Because it's not the institution of the divine. It's not the institutions that govern the collective justly, but rule unjustly, inhumane. So, the governmental system of the world is found guilty beyond any reasonable doubt as an institutions of Satan that has no moral credibility in a court of moral righteousness. So I think we're going to leave it here till next time. Next is religion. Religion on trial in the court of moral righteousness, where religion, all organized religions of the world, will be proven guilty beyond any reasonable doubt as institutions of Satan with zero moral credibility. This is next on the 5-minute spiritual quest. I hope you join us. This is Mr. Abdullah Ngom. As always, be well and God bless. And thank you for tuning in.